hands together for Pam W.
Thank God Corey is the same height as me. Just this. So, if anybody said hi to me earlier and I didn't respond, it's probably because you were talking to my twin. I have an identical twin sister, and usually when I tell people that I have a twin sister, I get a couple of questions, so we'll just get those out of the way. Yes, we are in fact identical. Yes, occasionally we will sort of send our emotions to each other telepathically. Nope, not gonna make out with her. You'd be surprised how often that last one comes up. Do you ever wonder why men like identical twins? Like, do they realize that it's a genetic mutation? There's nothing sexy about an extra thumb. So why is it so hot that we share the same DNA? I think men are secretly bargain shoppers. They want to have the opportunity to wear one out and still have one left over. Sort of like when I buy a pair of pants that I like, I get two, just in case one needs to be retired early. So I met a guy on Match.com, and I had told him that I had a twin, but I purposefully kept it sort of, I wanted to screw with him, so I purposely kept it limited. And when we showed up, I showed up to meet him on the first date, I actually had my sister squeeze into the same exact sweatshirt with me. So when I saw the look on his face was a look of horror when he realized that we might actually be conjoined. So I gave him this really offended reaction. And then I said, who doesn't like a BOGO? People always ask me what it's like to be a twin. So here's a little bit, I guess, of a taste of that. So when my sister was pregnant, I actually got sympathy symptoms. So I remember I got into my car and I went to go to work, and I immediately had to pull over and throw up into a Walmart bag, the entire time cursing my brother-in-law. There's nothing like fake pregnancy symptoms to remind you to renew your birth control. Hi, Planned Parenthood, how far in advance can I order? 5 years? Perfect. When my sister gave birth to my niece, I was actually in the room. I watched the entire thing happen. And it was pretty intense. My brother-in-law looked at me at one point and he goes, "Why are you looking so hard at her vagina?" I said, "Are you kidding? This is better than a mirror." Where's the spot? So winter's coming up, and there's some good things and some bad things about being a woman in the winter. So one of the good things is that showers become more entertaining. Don't get it yet, obviously. So women will probably understand this. I, like most women, do not shave my legs every day in the winter. Woo! Right? Right? So after a couple of days, when the excess hair from my head starts going down my body, it starts to feel like it's going down a Plinko board. And I'm at the top going, big money, big money! I never hit the jackpot, though. But one of the bad things about being a woman in the winter is leaving your house with wet hair. So if it happens to be less than 30 degrees out and you step out your front door with wet hair, you're going to be hit with this like frost heave of bitter, cold air, and it's going to turn your hair into a lethal weapon in seconds. Something like Pinhead, or from Hellraiser, or Edward Scissorhands. I can only hope the zombie apocalypse happens in mid-February. All set. So I'm a smoker, and people give me shit for smoking, and I think if they knew why I started smoking, they might be a little more understanding. So I actually have aspirations of singing like Janis Joplin one day. I'm one pack away from perfectly harmonizing with me and Bobby McGee. So like I mentioned earlier, I like to screw with people, and when I'm having a particularly rough day, I think the people around me tend to feel it the most. So when when I'm having a rough day, I like to listen to gangster rap. It just helps me get it all out, right? So the other day I was having a particularly rough day, and I was driving down the road in my, mind you, nice 2014 Chevy Equinox, blaring Hip Hop Nation at satellite radio. And this little old couple parks next to me at the red light, and I'm like, yeah, this is gonna happen. So I roll down my window, and I crank it up, and I'm just in my car, rocking out to "I love bad bitches, that's my fucking problem." It's perfect. And I saw them in the car next to me, and they look over, and he just looks at his wife, and he's like, "Don't look, Ethel, it's another little white girl with daddy issues." So I have a full-time job, but I also wait tables on the side. So I wait tables at a breakfast restaurant, and the worst part about that is that I'm not a morning person. So if I get my first table before I have my first cup of coffee, Lord help them. I walked up to a table last weekend and I said, "Thanks for coming in, my name is," and before I could finish, the lady shakes the coffee pot at me and goes, "Coffee?" I looked right back at her and said, "Yeah, good idea." For some reason, I guess I just am a grumpy waitress. So I also sort of have this thing with the way people talk to me in general. So I walked by this table the other day and I dropped off their coffee pot, and they said that they needed something to put in their coffee. I said, "Oh, would you like cream or milk?" And they said, "Well, we don't have nothing." So I looked at him and I said, "Do you realize that's a double negative? Apparently you don't need me." And I walked away. So I live in Burlington, and if I've learned anything from living in Burlington, I said if you want something to enter your system fast, you have to snort it. Caffeine, Tylenol, birth control. As I get older, people tell me that I should practice my Kegel exercises. So if you don't know what a Kegel exercise is, it's essentially an exercise that's meant to work your muscles down there if you're a woman. So the way that you do that typically is when you use the bathroom, you let yourself start to pee and then you stop yourself. And then you let yourself start to pee and then you stop yourself. So I was in a bathroom the other day and I heard the woman next to me, but I didn't know if she was practicing her Kegels or watering a lawn. Because all I could hear was So I actually met someone the other day, and he actually happens to be a twin too, so that's convenient. We have something in common. And I was so excited that we had something in common that I couldn't wait to sort of meet up with him in person and, like, you know, start asking questions and like figure out what his life was like. So the first thing that I just blurted it out as soon as we got there. Have you guys ever made out? Yeah, thank you.